I mean, it's obvious. They don't even try to hide it. We got Kelsey Plum talking about these pathetic shirts that they wore out onto the court. And I'm gonna tell you, these players all put these shirts on, and like I said in a couple of previous videos, that backfired. I mean, here we are. We're nearly 24 hours. We're about 24 hours since they showed up on the court. It is still a social media.
A significant moment occurred during recent WNBA events when players wore coordinated shirts, though the athletes themselves weren't informed this would happen beforehand. The surprise nature of this demonstration was genuine, with the t-shirt unity decision being made during a morning team meeting. However, notable was the absence of any Team Clark representatives from this gathering. The WNBA athletes continue displaying increasingly problematic behavior patterns. Their obvious resentment and antagonism toward Caitlin Clark has become impossible to ignore. They make no effort to conceal these feelings.
Since they showed up on the court, it is still a social media blitzkrieg out there of these WNBA players getting destroyed because anybody with any sense, actual sports fans, we know a few things. Somebody asked me earlier, is it the fans that drive the salaries that these players are going to get? And I said yes and no. Okay. The no part is it's the media rights deals.
Recent comments from Kelsey Plum regarding the controversial shirts worn during court appearances have sparked widespread criticism. These garments have generated significant backlash, with nearly a full day of social media condemnation following their debut. The negative response has been overwhelming, as genuine sports enthusiasts recognize several key facts. Questions arise about whether fan attendance drives player compensation. The answer involves both yes and no elements. Television contracts and media rights agreements represent the primary financial drivers in professional athletics, not fan attendance alone.
It's the television contracts in all of sports that is the driving force behind athletes and the sports organizations making money. That's why the NFL can print money. Look, to a lesser extent, sure. Does attendance matter? Yeah. Does merch matter? Yeah. To the extent of a $260 million a year media rights deal?
This explains why NFL organizations generate enormous revenues. While attendance and merchandise sales matter, they pale compared to massive media deals worth hundreds of millions annually. The NFL operates under a unique model where teams could theoretically play before empty stadiums while maintaining profitability. This occurs because millions of viewers tune in for major broadcasts, creating incredibly valuable television contracts. Similar dynamics exist across NBA and Major League Baseball, where regional sports networks and national broadcasters pay enormous sums, resulting in substantial athlete salaries. Current WNBA players have made serious strategic errors.
No, it doesn't. Okay, and that's why, literally, there's a joke. And you guys know I've got a football channel. I used to cover the NFL on this channel before we moved it off this channel, and have been for years. There's a joke in the NFL that really and truly, these teams could play in front of 0 people, and they would keep just printing money. Why? Because,
the viewership ratio shows 3 new league followers for every traditional fan. These newcomers aren't general sports converts, but fans from other leagues now watching WNBA content. Traditional supporters represent the minority, while newcomers constitute the majority. However, this new audience primarily watches Indiana Fever games, specifically to see Caitlin Clark perform. League veterans understand this reality and harbor obvious resentment. Their Unity shirt demonstration reflects this frustration with activism messaging.
Money. Why? Because, 40 million people tune in for the Redskins and Cowboys game on Thanksgiving. The media rights deals are insane. They're insane in the NBA. That's why the contracts are insane. Major League Baseball, all these regional sports networks paid these teams and paid up along with the national broadcast, and the Major League Baseball salaries are insane. These players have made a great.
Meanwhile, the expanded fan base consists of knowledgeable sports consumers who understand financial dynamics and recognize the league currently operates at a loss. The only viable path to profitability runs through the player wearing number 10, the individual capable of generating necessary revenue streams. These shirt-wearing players are discovering consequences for their actions. The newly arrived supporters reject their messaging approach, understanding that salary increases will occur naturally through improved media rights deals, but expecting unrealistic NBA-level compensation remains impossible. Conservative estimates suggest maximum contracts might reach approximately $700,000 annually, compared to current maximums around $249,000. However, million-dollar salaries remain unrealistic.
Grave miscalculation. They've got, on a 3-to-1 scale, they've got new sports fans, and I don't mean new to sports, new to their league. Fans of other sports now watching their league. The old fandom is the 1. All right, we're the 3. They're the 1. Now, we're not watching their whole sport as a whole. We're not. Now, occasionally we peek in on other games.
Average salaries might increase from roughly $100,000 to approximately $250,000, limited by television revenue realities. The shirts displayed "Pay us what you owe us," messaging drawing widespread mockery. Kelsey Plum provided background context about these garments, while taking subtle shots at Caitlin Clark. Sabrina Ionescu visibly disapproved of these comments, showing clear discomfort with the situation. Plum described the moment as powerful and surprising to players, explaining the morning meeting where t-shirt coordination was decided. She specifically mentioned, without intending to reveal details, that 0 Team Clark members attended this planning session.
Not watching their whole sport as a whole. We're not. Now, occasionally we peek in on other games or this and that and the other, but we're watching the Indiana Fever. More specifically, we're watching Caitlin Clark. These players know that, and they hate it. And they can't even hide it. Here's the other thing. The 1, all right, they're all behind these. Oh, they're going to wear these shirts and activism and all that. Whereas the 3, the 3-to-1, the fans that came in, the sports fans that came in, you know.
Ionescu's facial expression suggested this information shouldn't have been shared publicly. The hostility displayed appears excessive and counterproductive. These actions demonstrate why broader audiences might lose interest in league content. The athletes appear increasingly difficult to support, lacking rating success beyond Clark-related content, while openly showing disrespect toward their primary attraction. Their behavior suggests they neither deserve increased compensation nor the attention Clark generates. Ionescu's reaction showed clear embarrassment about Plum's unnecessary disclosure.
Sports fans that came in, you know what we don't do? We ain't worried about salaries. And we know the monetary dynamics of sports, and we know your league doesn't make a profit. And the only hopes of it making a profit is that lady right there on my screen, holding the number 10 Lexi Hall jersey. That is the person that...
Plum seems frustrated by not being the league's main attraction, similar to other veterans who expected greater prominence. Diana Taurasi experienced similar feelings, as would other incoming players like Paige Beakers if circumstances were different. None of these athletes have generated significant audience movement or needle-moving impact. The jealousy and pettiness displayed puts Plum in territory occupied by other controversial figures in women's sports. Historical polling about unlikable athletes has shown how certain behaviors damage public perception, with some female athletes ranking higher than prominent male figures in negative fan sentiment. The commentary reveals how counterproductive this behavior appears.
Crosses on the court, or did I miss that? Because a third of these players believes that the fans are racist. Oh, that didn't happen? Funny how that worked. Also, funny how Asia Wilson was all smiles. I thought she felt threatened or something playing in Indiana. She was a hee-hee and a tee-hee and a ha-ha and a cuckoo and all that. Just having a blast out there. Fraudulent. You want to know what's also fraudulent? Holy hell. And that's the reason I'm making this video. These
Internal divisions among women athletes often create more damage than external criticism. Plum's comments serve no constructive purpose beyond highlighting existing tensions. Financial analysis suggests the league would need to pay players approximately $347,000 each to share actual profits, though current losses mean players theoretically owe the organization around $213,000 based on operating deficits spanning multiple years. Some observers suggest Clark should consider alternative leagues, potentially including overseas opportunities where different financial structures.
Video. These these t-shirts, whoever told them to do this was a bad move. A bad move. Because when I tell you, Fearbuck, Breaking 911, Barstool Sports, congratulations, Clown World picked you up, Hater Report, and about 25 others.
The irony remains that Clark's presence has done more for player compensation advocacy than any shirt demonstration. Her influence represents the primary driver behind increased league enthusiasm and potential salary improvements. The unity messaging appears contradictory when excluding key team representatives from planning discussions. This selective inclusion undermines stated unification goals and reveals underlying divisions within the league structure. Intelligent sports followers recognize the fundamental flaw in the demonstration, demanding payment from an organization operating at significant losses while being subsidized by NBA revenues.
Report and about 25 others. This is now going viral. I mean, mega viral, and not in a good way. This backfired from a PR standpoint royally. The WNBA is getting crushed, obliterated, just cooked. None of those terms are putting enough emphasis on how bad.
This response occurred during what should have been a Premier League showcase, though the game itself received poor reviews. The problematic behavior appears concentrated among a small group of approximately 10 to 12 players, while most league members maintain positive relationships with Clark. Players like Jonquel Jones openly support her, as does Ionescu based on available evidence. However, this vocal minority includes some of the league's most prominent figures, creating a toxic environment that damages overall league health. Removing these disruptive elements would significantly improve league culture and reduce negative publicity.
They're getting destroyed right now. Pay us what you owe us. Number one, you could just change that into pay us what you owe me. Because Caitlin Clark is the only player that deserves to get paid in the whole damn group. Right here. Pay me what you owe me. Fixed it. You're right about that. You did fix it. Holy crap.
The concentration of problems among supposed star players presents challenges for league management, but also opportunities for positive change through roster adjustments. The timing of these criticisms coincides with peak interest in women's basketball, representing a missed opportunity for positive messaging and unified growth. Instead, internal conflicts dominate headlines during a period when the league could capitalize on unprecedented attention and support. The recent WNBA All-Star exhibition proved to be a spectacle for all the wrong reasons. Defense appeared completely absent from the contest, transforming what should have been competitive basketball into nothing more than a three-point shooting display.
You did fix it. Holy crap. Holy crap. Can we pay them to go away? What exactly are they owed? How does the math break down? Oh, God. My God. This is crazy. This is crazy. Clown World. Here we go. How about they first pull in some revenue as me?
Players launched shots from beyond the arc without any semblance of organized team play or strategic execution. However, the lackluster gameplay became secondary to a much larger controversy. The real discussion centered around custom apparel worn by participating athletes bearing the message, "Pay us what you owe us." This wardrobe choice triggered an immediate and overwhelmingly negative response across social media platforms and sports commentary networks. Multiple major sports outlets and social media accounts began circulating images and commentary about these shirts, causing the story to spread rapidly online. The reaction was swift and harsh, with critics questioning the logic behind such messaging from a league that continues to operate at a significant financial loss.
In some revenue as men, as the same as men. Not going to happen. They want NBA checks with YMCA numbers. You knew this was going to be bad. So they want less money than they're making. A lot of people came right out and said they're making too much money right now. NBA, y'all could do the funniest thing right now and defund the WNBA. Let them get paid only.
Previous allegations about hostile fan environments in certain markets proved unfounded during the game, as players appeared comfortable and engaged throughout the contest. Claims of threatening atmospheres and discriminatory behavior from spectators were contradicted by the jovial interactions observed during the event. The financial reality of women's professional basketball became a central talking point in the ensuing debate. Critics pointed out that the league reported losses of approximately $40 million in the previous year, while continuing to receive substantial subsidies from the NBA. Many questioned what exactly the players believe they are owed, given these economic circumstances.
Paid only on what they bring in. They lost $40 million last year, folks. Entitlement has gotten so bad, there's a whole league based off of it. This was a terrible move. What if I told you, welcome to clown world? Yeah. Bring in the revenue that the NBA does then.
Social media responses ranged from analytical breakdowns of league finances to more pointed criticisms about entitlement and economic understanding. Comments frequently highlighted the disconnect between desired compensation levels and actual revenue generation. Some suggested that if the league operated independently without external financial support, player salaries would necessarily reflect the organization's actual earning capacity. The presence of rookie sensation Caitlin Clark was repeatedly mentioned as a primary driver of increased viewership and attendance. Many commentators argued that she represents the majority of the league's current market value and fan interest.
Right. I mean, it's yikes. Why are they so ugly? Why do they mock womanhood? This got ugly quick. Advocating for a pay cut is wild. I feel a player strike incoming. They're going to destroy the league. I mean, seriously, 99% of league revenue.
Without her participation, critics suggested the league would face even greater financial challenges and reduced public attention. Numerous responses indicated that people found the timing and messaging of these shirts particularly problematic given the league's ongoing financial struggles. The contrast between requesting higher compensation while simultaneously losing tens of millions of dollars struck many as fundamentally illogical. The overwhelming nature of the negative feedback surprised even seasoned observers. Across dozens of different social media threads and platforms, supportive comments for the player's message appeared virtually non-existent.